Please listen closely, because what I am about to share may sound unbelievable at first, but do not miss even a single second. Something strange is happening right now, and somehow you have been drawn into it. My dear brother, my dear sister in faith, if you have grown tired of worrying about money, tracking every expense, and wondering how you will make it through, then stay with me. Just 2 days ago, a man named David from Chicago shared something surprising. Within just 24 hours of hearing a message like this, money showed up in his account, unexpected, unplanned. The very next day, Linda said her small online store, which had been quiet for months, suddenly sold out completely. And this morning, Sam got a high-paying client he had been chasing for a long time. But here is the part that will make you stop and think. Their breakthrough started before they had even finished listening. So ask yourself, why are you here right now? This is not luck. This is not random. Something led you here at this exact moment, because a shift, a real shift, is already taking place. And you are standing right in the middle of it. Right now, I want you to do something simple but powerful. Take a breath deep inside and say in your heart, I receive what is meant for me. Because this moment is not passive. Your attention matters, your focus matters, your belief matters. Maybe you feel unsure. Maybe you have hoped before and nothing changed. Maybe you prayed and felt like no one was listening. That is okay. But listen to this clearly. Your situation was never because you were not trying hard enough. You are being prepared. Picture a seed planted deep in the ground. For a long time, nothing shows on the surface. It looks empty. It looks still, but underneath something is growing. Something is building strength. That has been your life. Now close your eyes for a moment. Picture a door standing in front of you. Not an ordinary door. This one has your name written on it. It does not lead to a bank or a place you know. It leads to something far greater. And right now that door is opening. Not slowly, not gently. It is being pushed open with force because something has already been set in motion. At this very moment, things you cannot see are shifting. Paths are being cleared. Chances for new things are being arranged. It feels like a quiet system suddenly coming alive, just for you. What once felt blocked is now opening. This is not just hope, this is alignment. And as you listen, something deeper is taking place. Your mind is starting to change. Your belief is being adjusted. It is like tuning a radio that was once stuck on struggle and slowly moving it toward a new frequency, one of ease, flow, and provision. Stay with me because this part matters. Your focus right now is not just listening, it is agreement, it is acceptance. It is the moment you stop resisting what could already be on its way. Every delay, every miss, every closed door, it was not the end. It was positioning like pieces on a chessboard. Everything has been moving to bring you to this moment. And right now, the shift has started. It may feel small at first, like the sky just before sunrise, still dim, but quietly changing. You do not see the sun yet, but you know it is coming. That is where you are. Something has already begun. Chances will begin to find you. Fresh ideas will arrive. The right people will cross your path. Things that felt far away will begin to move closer, not because of luck, but because something inside you has changed. So do not doubt this moment. Do not push it away. Instead, welcome it in. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the fear. Let go of the old story that says things never work out for you, because that story is ending, and a fresh one has already begun. Your season of struggle was never meant to be permanent. It was the hidden part, the growing phase. And now something is rising, something is opening, something is moving in your direction, and this time it will not miss you. There is a place beyond what your eyes can see, beyond what your hands can touch, where supply already exists before it ever shows up in your physical world. Most people spend their whole lives reacting only to what they can see. They look at their bank account, their situation, their limits, and they let those things shape what they believe is possible. But real faith does not work that way. Real faith begins where what you can see comes to an end. When you switch faith on, you are stepping into a higher level of thinking and believing. You are no longer waiting for proof before you trust. Instead, you trust first, and then the proof follows. This is where many people struggle, because the natural mind always wants evidence. It wants confirmation. It wants to see something before it dares to believe it. But the spiritual rule works in the opposite direction. You must believe it before you ever see it. Think about this for a moment. Every great breakthrough, every big success, every change that has ever taken place in someone's life started as something unseen. It began as a thought, an idea, a belief. Before it became real in the world, it lived inside. Faith is what gives that unseen reality its substance. It is what begins to pull it from the unseen into the visible. When you pray with faith, you are not begging or hoping that something might happen one day. You are lining yourself up with something that already exists in the unseen place. Supply is not something that needs to be made from nothing. It is already prepared. Chances are already set. Doors are already placed, but they stay unseen until faith turns them on. This is why two people can be in the exact same place, yet end up with totally different outcomes. One sees lack, limit, and impossibility. The other sees possible chances and a coming breakthrough. The difference is not in their surroundings. The difference is in their faith. One is reacting to what can be seen. The other is responding to what cannot be seen. Faith is not blind optimism. It is a deep inner knowing. It is the ability to stand in the middle of uncertainty and still say something greater is already working in my favor. Even when there is no sign, no proof, no quick change, faith stays steady. It does not move up and down based on circumstances. It is held firm by certainty. And here is where the shift begins to take place. When your faith becomes strong enough, it begins to shape your thoughts, your words, and your actions. You begin to speak in a new way. Instead of saying, "I do not have enough," you begin to say, "Supply is coming my way." Instead of focusing on what is missing, you focus on what is being prepared. Your way of thinking changes from scarcity to hope of more. This shift has power because your words carry a building force. When they are backed by faith, they begin to shape your world. You are no longer making limitations stronger. You are speaking out possibility. And over time, those spoken truths begin to show up in ways that may feel unexpected. But it does not happen right away. And this is where many people give up. They pray once, maybe twice, And when they do not see quick results, they assume nothing is happening. What they do not understand is that faith is still working even when there is no visible movement. Just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not unfolding. Seeds do not grow in one day. They grow under the surface first. In the same way, when you switch faith on, something begins to move in the unseen area. Connections are being formed. Chances are coming into line. Situations are shifting quietly. And at the right time, it begins to show up in your visible world. So the question is not whether supply exists. It does. The real question is whether you are ready to believe in it before you see it. Are you willing to hold on to faith when everything around you points the other way? Are you willing to trust the unseen process? Because the moment you do, everything begins to change. Your energy changes, your focus changes, your hopes rise, and suddenly you start noticing things you never noticed before. Chances that were always there become visible. Doors that seem closed begin to open. What once felt impossible starts to feel certain. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It connects your present world to a future that is already prepared. And when you walk on that bridge with confidence, without holding back, you begin to feel something extraordinary. You stop chasing what you need, and what you need begins finding you. There is a power in your words that many people underestimate. Every time you speak, you are not just sharing thoughts, you are shaping direction. Your words carry weight, and when they are spoken through prayer, they begin to influence the path of your life in ways you may not right away notice. This is especially true when it comes to your money situation. Most people talk about money from a place of frustration or fear. They say things like, "I never have enough," or "money is always hard to find," or "nothing is going my way." What they do not realize is that these words are not harmless. Over time, they become a pattern, and that pattern begins to shape their experience. When negative words are repeated often enough, they make limits stronger. They create a way of thinking that expects bad luck, and eventually that belief becomes what actually happens. Prayer changes this pattern, but only when it is done with purpose and awareness. Prayer is not meant to be passive or full of doubt. It is not about speaking empty words and hoping something might change. Real prayer is deliberate. It is focused. It is filled with belief. When you pray, you are setting a direction for your life with your words. Treat your words like seeds. Every sentence you speak plants something. If your words are filled with doubt, fear, and limits, then those are the seeds you are planting. But if your words are filled with faith, clarity, and expectation, then you are planting something completely different. Over time, those seeds grow. They begin to influence your thinking, your choices, and even the chances that come into your life. This is why the way you speak in prayer matters so much. Instead of focusing on what you lack, you begin to speak out what is coming. Instead of going over your problems again, you start confirming solutions. You move from saying, "I need money," to saying, "Supply is pouring into my life." That may seem like a small change, but it creates a completely different response inside. When your words line up with belief, something powerful starts. Your mind begins to accept those words as truth. And once your mind accepts something as truth, it begins to look for ways to back it up. You begin to notice chances you might have missed before. You start to think in fresher ways. You become more open to taking action. In this way, your words are not just influencing your thoughts, they are influencing what you do. But there is another level to this. Words spoken in prayer do more than shape your world inside. They also place you in a position to receive. When you keep declaring plenty, good treatment and new chances, you are teaching yourself to expect those things. And expectation is powerful. It changes how you carry yourself. It changes how you respond to situations. It even changes how others see you. People who expect good things tend to see chances more quickly. They move with confidence. They are not held back by constant doubt. This is not a coincidence. It is the result of what they have been speaking and believing over time. However, keeping it steady is the key. One positive prayer cannot undo years of negative thinking. You have to be on purpose with your words every day. You have to protect what you say, especially in moments of pressure. It is easy to speak faith when things are going well. The real test comes when things are not certain. In those moments, your words reveal what you truly believe. If you can keep speaking with clarity and confidence, even when there is no visible change, you begin to build something strong within you. Your faith becomes steady, your way of thinking becomes disciplined, and over time your outside life begins to show that inner shift. It is also important to understand that your words should be specific. Vague prayers often lead to vague results. When you speak, be clear about what you are expecting. Speak as if it is already being arranged. Speak as if the process is already moving. This level of clarity makes your focus sharper and your belief stronger. There is a difference between saying, "I hope things get better," and saying, "New chances are opening for me and I am ready to receive them." The second statement carries direction. It carries intention. It moves you forward. Your money destiny is not only shaped by outside factors, it is also shaped by what you keep saying out loud. Every word you speak in prayer is either building limitation or building possibility. There is no middle ground, so choose your words carefully. Speak with purpose, speak with belief, speak with expectation. Because over time, your words will not just describe your life, they will define it. There is something deeply transformative about gratitude when it is joined with expectation. Most people keep these two apart. They wait to feel grateful until something good happens, and they hesitate to expect more because they fear being let down. But when gratitude and expectation come together, they create a strong state that opens the door for plenty to flow more freely into your life. Gratitude shifts your focus. Instead of constantly noticing what is missing, you begin to recognize what is already there. Even if it feels small, even if it seems unimportant, the moment you notice it with sincerity, something changes within you. Your view begins to grow wider. You move from a mindset of shortage to a mindset of thanks. And this shift is not just emotional, it is the base of everything. When you keep practicing gratitude, you are training your mind to notice value. You begin to notice chances, ties, and resources that were always there but went unnoticed. Many people struggle with money not only because of outer limits, but because they have taught themselves to miss what they already have. Gratitude corrects that blindness. It sharpens your awareness. But gratitude by itself is not enough. If you only value what you have without expecting more, you can settle into your current state. This is where expectation comes in. Expectation is what pulls you forward. It is the quiet confidence that something greater is on its way, even if you cannot yet see it. When you bring gratitude and expectation together, you create a balance that is incredibly strong. You are thankful for what is already in your life, but you are also open and ready for what is coming next. You are not desperate and you are not stuck. You are aligned. This alignment changes how you approach everything. When you pray, your tone changes. Instead of asking from a place of need, you begin to speak from a place of trust. You say, I am grateful for what I have, and I am ready for more. That simple shift takes pressure off and puts confidence in its place. People who live in this state tend to pull better outcomes toward themselves, not because of luck, but because of how they think and act. Gratitude keeps them grounded and positive. Expectation keeps them alert and ready to act. They are more likely to take action when chances show up because they are already ready for them. They are not caught off guard by success. They are prepared for it. There is also an emotional steadiness that comes with this combination. Life does not always move in a straight line. There will be delays, challenges, and moments when things feel unsure. If your way of thinking is based only on outcomes, you will feel down every time something does not go as planned. But when you are rooted in gratitude, you stay steady. And when you carry expectation, you stay hopeful. This steadiness is important because it lets you stay consistent. Many people start with energy, but lose steam when they do not see quick results. Gratitude keeps you tied to the present, and expectation keeps you devoted to the future. Together, they help you stay on course. It is also worth noting that gratitude changes how you connect with others. When you value what you have, you naturally become more positive, more patient, and more open. This affects your relationships, your talks with others, and even your reputation. People are drawn to those who carry a sense of thanks and quiet confidence. And in many cases, chances come through people. Expectation, on the other hand, shapes how you carry yourself. It shows in your posture, your tone, your choices. When you expect good things, you are less likely to settle for less. You make choices that line up with growth rather than fear. You step into situations with a sense of readiness instead of holding back. Over time, this combination begins to shape your environment. You start to notice that things are lining up more smoothly. Conversations lead to new ideas. Small steps lead to bigger results. What once felt tough begins to feel more natural. This is not about pushing outcomes or pretending everything is perfect. It is about placing yourself in a way that lets good things enter your life more easily. Gratitude opens your awareness. Expectation opens your future. So begin where you are. Take a moment each day to notice what is already working in your life. Say it out loud if you can. Feel it for real. Then, without holding back, let yourself expect more, not with pressure, but with quiet confidence. Because when you live in that space, grateful for what is and ready for what is coming, you create an environment where plenty feels normal, not far away. Staying steady is where belief becomes real. Many people have moments of faith. They feel inspired. They pray with strong belief. They speak positive words. And for a short time, Everything inside them lines up. But then something happens. A delay, a setback, a challenge they did not see coming. And suddenly that belief begins to weaken. Doubt quietly returns, and with it, the old ways of thinking come back. This is why staying steady matters more than being loud. It is not what you do one time that shapes your life. It is what you repeat daily, especially when you do not feel like it. When you stay steady in your belief, something begins to become steady within you. Your way of thinking becomes less reactive. You are no longer pushed around by short-term situations. Instead of rising and falling with every situation, you develop a steady inner confidence. And that steadiness is what lets small breakthroughs grow into something much bigger. Think about how progress actually works. It rarely happens all at once. Most of the time, it starts with something small, an idea, a connection, a small chance. At first, it may not look like much. In fact, many people miss it because it does not match what they expect a big breakthrough to look like. But those small moments are often the start of something greater. The problem is, without consistency and belief, people brush off these early signs. They lose focus, they become impatient, and they stop caring for what has started. As a result, what could have grown into something important fades away. Consistency changes that. When you stay steady in your faith and your expectations, you begin to notice the worth in small progress. You treat it with importance. You act on it. You give it attention, and over time it grows. This is how momentum is built. One small step leads to another. One chance opens the door to the next. What once seemed small begins to grow. But this only happens when you stay engaged and committed. There is also a mental discipline involved in being consistent. It asks you to guard your thoughts. Doubt will come. It always does. Negative situations will show up. But being consistent means you do not let those moments shape your belief. You see them, but you do not stay in them. Instead, you go back to your focus. You remind yourself of what you are building toward. You keep speaking with clarity and confidence, even when it feels like you have said it many times. And this repeating is not empty. It is making it stronger. It strengthens your mindset. It deepens your belief over time. This creates a strong environment inside. You become less dependent on outside approval. You do not need constant proof to keep going. Your belief becomes self-sustaining. And when your belief reaches that level, your actions also become more lined up and more consistent. This lining up is important because belief alone is not enough. It must be backed by action. When you keep believing in growth and new chances, you are more likely to take steps in that direction. You make choices that support your vision. You follow through on ideas. You stay open to learning and getting better. This is where small breakthroughs begin to multiply. Each action makes a result, and each result makes a new door to walk through. It